Welcome to the What You Gonna Want to Do podcast. I'm Kevin.
Scott Weaver, Esquire.
Oh, nice.
Almost jumped on that. Yeah. And I'm Caleb.
This week's topic.
I like the way you let it sit there for a minute.
Kind of ruminate.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let it bake. Get things
This
going.
week, we're going to be talking about... Oh, we forgot to mention...
This is an old one, so.
Oh, it's a list of
Our producer and director.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Editor. Silas Clark.
Silas H.C. Clark.
Couldn't do this without him.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'd just be sitting in a room talking to each other.
Yeah.
Nothing going on.
Some might have preferred it that way.
Perhaps.
Some people feel like we're already doing that. And there's someone said of a camera.
That's true.
And a mic. This week, we're going to be discussing the greatest bands of all time.
Discussing.
This.
It's a group discussion.
It's a group discussion.
And some of us have made out lists, and others have it in their head.
Boy, do we collective as a bunch.
I kind of went through decade by decade for myself, and
And mine's just from the heart.
With the
This
list
is
I
from,
made.
you have to have something from the heart.
Yeah.
True.
Can't be all up here.
And
Well, and here's a problem I'm going to run into. Because some of the bands I enjoy are not been around.
Hey, that's
well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, no, but
That's good.
mine's not going to necessarily. Some of mine aren't going to necessarily be the best bands of all time. There's going to be bands I like.
Yeah.
Because music, maybe possibly more than anything, because it's an art. So art in general is subjective.
I get that.
Yeah.
And
And some of the stuff you have is going to be garbage to anybody with working ears. But some stuff's going to be stuff that we can all collectively agree on.
I didn't include like all of my just favorite bands. I was trying to kind of stick to the ones that I thought, even though I might like them, I might not think that they are
Yeah, I think that's fair.
qualified
There's
to
some
be
that I can
considered
say
one of
that
the
too.
greatest.
Yeah, so like
Sure.
your Costellos, your Bowies, they're not going to be.
And what I did, and I was sticking to just bands as well,
Not individual.
Not solo artists.
solo artists.
Okay.
And so even like,
Neil Diamond or Meatloaf.
yeah, someone. I was like anyone like that, like Jimi Hendrix and the Experience. I was still considering.
What do you consider Bon Jovi? Is that a band or is that a solo?
I don't consider him one of the greatest of all time.
Well, Cy was telling me that the top of his list is easily top 5.
I get that.
Bon Jovi, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, Cy's.
But yeah, so like,
he styles his own music after Bon Jovi. Just lyrically.
I'm gonna start off.
Right.
Really?
If you've ever heard Cy's stuff, you hear Bon Jovi.
All through and throughout. I mean, you cannot.
I'm gonna start off with an obvious one.
Okay.
The Beatles.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
just crazy.
It's a little risky.
It's a little.
You're willing to die on that hill?
Are you willing to die on that hill?
But I mean, I just feel like you can't have a list of the greatest bands of all time. And
I would argue probably a majority of the other bands we'll list, you wouldn't be able to list if they would have done what they were doing.
I can't.
Say that again.
Okay.
Essentially, what they did for music, other bands wouldn't have made music because of the influence the Beatles had.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I was speaking purely in hypotheticals because clearly the Beatles did exist.
That's right.
I didn't realize I was going to have to explain it that much. I thought maybe
I just kind of
have to explain.
It makes sense, but I just kind of missed it.
Now that I've broken it down for you, does it make sense now?
I got you.
Just because their sphere of influence.
That's a nice little phrase there.
You can listen. Much like, all right, I'll tie it together with something that you're really passionate about. Much like the Virginia military
moving along
survey, you can feel the ripples of the Beatles.
That's right.
And
till today.
And here's where true. And here's where I'll go. Like Paul McCartney and Wings, I didn't include them, even though I love their work
your wings
because it's basically him.
Yeah.
Him's another band, but they didn't come till later.
Is just the main driving force. So I was kind of sticking to bands.
Just kind of the band.
The band's band.
Just the band, you said.
Not the band.
Yeah, they're not on my list.
Oh.
Not bad, but they're not on my list.
Okay, yeah.
You're too good for the band.
You're too
I'm
good
not
for the
saying
band.
that.
You're too.
Next, the Rolling Stones.
I like the Rolling Stones.
You gotta have them on the list.
Sure, yeah. No arguments. I mean, why would you? Who's going to argue? You got to.
Ooh, the Who.
Oh,
They're next on my list.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Very good,
He wasn't
Scott.
going to get fooled again.
Ooh.
nice.
I love the Who. I mean, obviously, I like the Beatles. I appreciate what they've done.
Yeah.
But as far as the British invasion goes, I think
You like them,
I think the Who might be my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And another one. And I know you love this one too. The Kinks.
Yeah. Huge fan of them.
Yeah. Great stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if you heard their catalog, I mean, I'm not talking if you heard it, I mean, they're songwriting wise, they're awfully close to the Beatles.
Yeah.
In terms of that real melodic stuff. I mean, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Please check them out if you haven't heard some of their stuff, like the Village Green Preservation Society. That album, that's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Huge fan. Sorry.
That's quite all right.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. That right there. That's why we're here.
That right.
And if you're not bringing something like that, we're not going to. You know what I'm saying? We're very surface. We're very surface level.
We don't have the depth.
That's all right.
My next one
everything
is the Beach Boys.
Oh yeah,
I love the Beach Boys.
yeah, they're great.
Too. Always have.
Yeah,
That was like one of the.
I really dig
We
the
had
styles they wear.
we had very little music when I was growing up at home. We had an 8-track, "Endless Summer" by the Beach Boys.
Endless Summer.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the Beach Boys.
Never
Beautiful
listen.
harmonies.
Oh, I
Never
was gonna
listen
say
to music on an 8-track.
harmonies.
You don't know what you're missing.
I know, yeah.
It switches
Or not.
tracks in
Until
the,
it switches the tracks.
in the middle of your song
Your favorite song, and then it switches. You gotta wait till it comes back.
every
Yeah.
time.
Figures. Doggone 8-track.
Next on my list, I love Motown soul. I've got the Four Tops,
Nice.
who was fortunate enough to meet. Actually,
Oh, that's right. He met that.
Yeah.
and the Beach Boys
Wow.
at the same time.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not all the Beach
Oddly
Boys.
enough, no, not all the Beach Boys.
Okay. Well,
you
at the time,
Did you meet the important Beach Boy?
No,
So it's like you didn't even meet him.
it's like it didn't even make.
Mike Love was there.
Hey, there you go.
You met the
He's the front guy. I mean, so,
theoretically.
I mean, yeah, he's the
He's the face.
Yeah.
Not the most
not
instrumental
the
in the
heart.
band, but he's sure. He's the heart. Yeah.
But Four Tops, they were
great.
awesome.
Yep.
Awesome guys. And also right along that same, the Temptations.
Yeah, more great. Yeah, great.
And they're not on my list, but I saw that one of the Isley brothers passed away today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Moss Isley.
Most size. That's him.
Yeah.
But yeah. I love
That's
their
for
stuff
you,
too.
Star
though.
Wars
Yeah,
fans.
that's for you.
Shout.
Let it all out, Dad.
Yeah, shout. Yeah.
This old heart of mine. Great stuff. And then rounding out my 60s, The Doors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 And they kind of went across into the 70s, right?
Yeah,
Early
they had a little
70s,
bit
late
into the
60s, early
70s. Yeah. Love them.
Yep.
Yeah, they would let it all hang out, from what I understand.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that what you're talking
Old
about?
Jimmy. Jimmy Morrison, he
Had a problem.
he's a wild child.
A little bit.
A real wild child.
Found some issues
Lizard
there.
King.
The Lizard King.
Lizard.
Yeah, the Lizard
Do
King.
you have any other 60s bands that
Boy,
you love? I mean, Supremes.
yeah, you forgot about the girls, the Supremes. Ooh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah. There's a lot of bands in the 60s.
There was a lot of bands.
A lot of
I've
music.
got to say, you said 60s bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. Because that's right. We're not doing solos. You can't put the Wonder in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some other time we'll do
Marvin
some
Gaye.
our favorite slow. Yeah, Marvin Gaye.
Oh, man. Yeah. This is tough.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, one of the ones I love, I didn't add because
Curtis Mayfield.
you mainly think of one artist. It's the Miracles, but
Smokey
Robinson.
Yeah, I got Smokey
Robinson.
Robinson.
So I did add them just because of that.
But you can't say, listen, you could talk about others, but you can't say that.
You can't say that.
Don't say that.
You can talk about the other, but you can't.
I almost had this, but I couldn't because it was just one person. All right.
Yeah, which brings us around to Meatloaf again.
Yeah. But you can't. Don't say that.
Don't say that. Don't.
I'd love to have said it. You know, I would have loved to have said Meatloaf. I like how he's saying his solo people without saying it solo.
Yeah, that's funny.
I would have loved to have been able,
like the Miracles and the
I would have loved to have said something. Like if I could have said something like, if I could have said something like a Hendrix, I would have said it, but I couldn't. Okay, I just want to get that out there. Could I have mentioned Clapton? I could have, but I didn't.
Oh,
Cream.
Oh, Cream. Well, yeah. That reminded me of one. Mm-hmm. This is on the heavier side, but Deep Purple.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're a little heavier, but they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Very influential.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got a lot of the big ones, Kev. I see no arguments.
All right.
Really.
So we want to move into the 70s?
Let's move.
Yeah.
Let's groove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you can get away without them in the 70s.
I don't think you can.
Right. Yeah.
Despite how you feel about them, I don't think you can get away from them. Like say that you don't like them.
Well,
like
sure.
say if you didn't.
Yeah. If you
like
didn't
hypothetically, clearly we all love Zeppelin, but you couldn't get away from it if you wanted to. And some of us might want to get away, like as far away from them as possible.
Okay.
Some of us, hypothetically, not us at this table.
Sounds like someone at this table does.
No, I just said somebody could. I could see.
He's just.
I saw.
He's trying to,
Yeah.
I saw a
for
clip.
the people out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with a lot of taste out there.
Yeah.
Zeppelin's not for everybody. Some have told me.
Some have told me.
I saw a clip from SCTV. It was a fake commercial about. It was like 30 different versions of Stairway to Heaven. Like they had like Slim Whitman, and like all these.
That's crazy because some people don't even like that song, which is wild. I couldn't imagine thinking that song maybe is overrated and overplayed. That's crazy. But some people feel that way. I don't know who does. But some people
we know.
He's walking the line.
He is.
Nobody here, probably.
I was just reading something about them the other day that Jimmy Page didn't really even want to join.
And some people get it. Not anybody here.
Robert Plant talked to me.
He talked to me.
Some people wonder. I've heard it said maybe Jimmy made the wrong decision. People have said that.
Here's the thing about Zeppelin too, because you get like you were just saying, like Stairway. You hear it all the time. You heard it all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But some of their more rock, but there's so much variety if you listen to their albums.
Yes.
There's a lot of different. Like the Rain song, I think is beautiful.
She's Like the Rain. Is that what you're talking?
It's a little different.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty song. I mean,
right.
And some like a reggae bit. It's like on Dancing Days and some of these other songs. Gallows Pole, where they did a lot of acoustic stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different looks, but of course you get everybody that go, well, they just Stairway to Heaven, rock and roll, and that's fine. But there's more to them.
Yeah.
Than that.
Unfortunately, sometimes the song that the band's the most known for may, in fact, not even be their best song.
Yeah, it's not my favorite either.
Times.
Yeah.
Totally.
Or good. Next song.
Got it.
Before we move on, Cy, did you have any bands from the 60s that you wanted to throw into the list?
Yeah, I should ask Cy. He's got.
I think you covered what's important.
Okay. I know he's he loves the Beach Boys. He loves the Beatles.
Well, you're not going to go wrong there.
Yeah. But I want you to all take that with a grain of salt because he also likes freeform jazz.
Well, I do too.
My favorite jazz.
I think.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite jazz.
I would argue the fact that you
like
have a favorite form of jazz makes
I think
everything
he's
highly
got a
sensitive.
jazz problem.
He does.
Different styles of jazz.
Yeah, but all styles are. Everybody gets their own sheet music, and has that.
Well, let me skip down on my list here of 70s bands.
Okay.
Since we're right here, Steely Dan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Love them.
Yeah,
love them.
Since somebody's beating up on jazz, I thought I would throw them in there.
since there's a lot of jazz in there.
Jazz influence.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you guys are probably like this with certain artists. You go through like periods where I'm just putting one album in after the other for a week or more. I'm just like, there isn't a bad song in there.
Yeah.
Not for me, not for what I enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not, if somebody don't like them, obviously.
Yeah.
No.
Because music is very subjective.
Yeah.
Very subjective.
Old Fagan has some. He's got some wryness to his lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
He's got, you're like, he's got a little.
I forget what song it was, but they wrote
cynical.
one song just to kind of like troll John Lennon. Yeah, I forget what it was, but
Well, you know what he said when he was asked on that yacht rock thing? They called him, we're not the bleeping yacht rock. It's like, well, that sounds like something to say.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
Next one on my list, and this one's very heavily Beatle influenced. ELO.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I love
And
it.
I know Cy likes them. They had a ELO cover band in the park. Was it
really?
last summer or the summer before?
Last summer. This past summer.
How were they, Si? Did they sound pretty good?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
I think
love
there's a
them.
good chance that some people don't even realize how much they like them because they don't.
They got so much stuff.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that's great.
Get in there. Figure it out.
Never figured.
The water's fine.
I agree with Caleb. You got to listen to them. You don't just listen to. I mean, the good stuff's still great, but I mean, there's other songs you're like, whew,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they got some great stuff. This next one, they may not be like the greatest band, but they have to be on the list, I think,
Big influence.
because
Yeah.
and that's Kiss.
Kiss. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I was a Kiss fan when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah. I mean, we all liked them, but like I think I was told you, I was listening to a Kiss song not long ago and realized that this isn't any harder than like the Bay City Rollers. But when we were kids, we thought, oh man, they're so
really-
metal.
That's metal hard rock right there.
Yeah,
They
their
weren't really
aesthetic
that
is much
hard.
heavier than their
look
persona.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. But
Talk about a band who's way heavier than Kiss ever could be.
AC/DC.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have them on that list.
Yeah, you got to.
AC/DC is good stuff. I enjoy AC/DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not my favorite,
Angus-
but I like
they're
to
great.
I like to crack some on every once in a while.
Angus Young on that guitar, just amazing.
Good riffs.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Great stuff.
Some shrill vocals, but it's a good time.
that's. I think it works. So
It works well and all.
I think it.
I don't think you'd have it any other way.
Yeah, if you had it, maybe it wouldn't.
But I also think you could replace Brian Johnson with Donald Duck and might not realize.
I think
You could do
you think some of my music takes are out of pocket.
out of pocket.
This one over here is.
Am I wrong?
Well, you got something there, but you got to have a little controversy.
Oh, yeah.
Get people talking.
right.
Yeah, I
Right.
disagree.
I mean, if you disagree, we would love to hear your comment.
We're not. Well, they're not going to be on here probably. But like, you could replace Morrissey with
Yeah, he's
Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, Kermit. Yeah.
And you would think
they're not gonna
and
be
it,
on here.
and it actually might be better.
He's got
I
some.
wouldn't hate it.
He's got some hot takes.
I wouldn't hate that.
But you don't even like this one. You
no.
don't like this one.
I love the Muppets. I've always been a big Kermit the Frog
I'm
fan.
talking about the Muppets.
I've always been a Muppets fan.
I hear what I'm hearing.
No.
I'm hearing what
That's great.
I can't remove one from the other.
It's always been a Muppets fan.
Next one on my list. You and I love them. Cy loves them. Caleb.
Okay.
Roxy Music.
Yeah, I love him.
Okay.
Sorry. I can't. Look, I love him to death.
Yeah.
So.
Beautiful stuff. And very influential. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many
Of course,
bands.
Caleb makes that. Well, maybe that's another reason why I don't like
But
him.
I guarantee there's bands that he loves
Oh, that he
that
does.
were influenced by them.
Yeah.
That he doesn't even
realize.
Yeah.
Because he's too stupid. Did you hear the way he said that?
Oh, no, not that.
I heard it. He's nodding.
I never
You're
said
too
that.
stupid
You are
to even know.
Look at your big dumb face.
No, not at all. That.
I felt
Next.
the tone.
Next one, Queen.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him.
I mean, you can't.
Probably.
I love him.
Cannot not have that one.
I love him.
Yep. The vocals alone.
Freddie Mercury, one of the greatest voices.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, of all time.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Except for that little kid.
The range. Stab.
The little kid.
Stab.
The little kid.
Stab.
The little kid.
Fat British kid. Songbird of his generation.
Yeah. We'll fill you in on that one later on, Scott.
Okay. It's some little kid, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's way better.
Some have said.
We've heard it said.
Yeah.
We've heard it said.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some other hot takes.
You can't go wrong.
No, I enjoy Queen.
Right. Next up, Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, yeah. Fleetwood. Yeah, love them.
They have to be on the list.
Yeah,
So
they
many
gotta
great
be.
songs.
Yeah.
Such a tremendous
The Mac.
catalog.
Stevie
As I
Nicks.
like to call him the Mac.
The Mac.
You heard about the flack. You call the Mac. I don't know what I call him. Just Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, and such versatility. I mean,
Yeah, I think early on when they didn't have Buckingham and Nicks, they were kind of a good jammy kind of band.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they've had other songwriters and that,
Right, very.
did some things, and then they come in and it's like, bing, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. But bing boom.
I think
Pow.
Boom. That's a
I think
technical term.
Buckingham is pretty underrated as far as a guitarist as well.
Yeah, he's,
Very good.
Yeah.
You know.
I think they're great. No arguments for me. You don't have anything controversial?
Nope. You guys got any other 70s bands you
No.
think of that come to mind that
I've got.
you know what? I thought I had them on my list and I didn't put them on there. But yes.
Yeah, I was definitely going to.
Maybe.
I was definitely going to say yes.
Yes.
Because I'm a prog rock guy.
Yeah.
I know these are we might get a little controversial, but it's going to be.
Take it.
You had yes, but I'm going to go with Genesis.
Exodus,
And,
Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy.
And of course, Rush.
Rush. Yeah.
I
huge
knew
Rush
you would
fan.
throw Rush in
I
there.
forget how big of a Rush fan you
Yeah,
are.
I'm huge,
I mean,
huge.
you got one of the greatest drummers of all
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Right there.
Animal from the Muppets.
Animal. Yeah.
See, they could get blow the Smiths out of the water. They didn't like a drum so much.
I remember when they transitioned from the 70s into the 80s so almost seamlessly.
Yeah. They had some great stuff in the
was just
80s
like-
too.
They really I think they understood what was going on better than maybe
Yeah.
some of the other bands that tried to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
And I know people hate Geddes, and that's fine. I get it. Especially early on. I think he sang lower with other material as they went
But
on.
they were doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. Certainly great musicians. Not that that's all that it's not really always about that. But
No, unfortunately, you can have a band full of great musicians and make mediocre music.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not always just because they're great.
True.
You gotta
Yeah.
still have songs. But, yeah.
Songs that make the whole world sing.
And Floyd. You got the Floyder.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. They are a band. I wouldn't argue that for anything.
And King Crimson.
And Crimson and Clover. Over and over.
21st century Schizoid. Well, you can't. Well, it's I mean, that's kind of what they say is like the big flagship prog band early was the King Crimson, yeah.
Yeah.
With the guy that's, got his mouth open on the front. You've seen that album. That's their first album.
Yeah. You got any other 70s bands,
Scott
Si?
took all my
Si.
picks.
Oh.
Yes.
I was
Oh,
gonna say,
you've got some.
yes, King Crimson, Pink Floyd, they took all.
Yeah, okay. I think we got them. All the biggies. What about you, Caleb?
Oh, no, I think we nailed it.
You think we're okay
Yeah, I think so.
for the most part?
I can't think of anything that's jumping off my mind. you know. I do enjoy a lot of solo artists too. So and that gets next out of where you can't listen. You can't.
Well, I forgot one.
Yeah.
In the funk stuff, Funkadelic, Parliament.
Yep.
Yeah. That's on the funk side. But still, they played. I mean, it was guitar, drums, keyboards.
Yeah.
I mean, that was what they did.
Oh yeah.
They had some jamming. And it wasn't. There was some good stuff, melody, and I know they get a little risque. I get it.
Who doesn't?
Because you got old Clinton, and he's doing his annex.
Yeah.
A lot of drugs going on, but
Naturally.
to separate the music, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'll throw that.
Performing art.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
People get performing art gets weird.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Definitely.
It can be weird. Real weird.
Yeah. Maybe the weirdest.
Yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately, more subjective than any other form of art potentially.
So. Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to jump into the 80s.
Go for it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We'll start you off with Journey.
Yeah.
Another.
Maybe my favorite band.
Oh, they're great.
I love Steve Perry.
I don't have any. There's
Another
no arguments here.
You'd love to say Steve Winwood, but you can't. You'd love to say it.
You'd love to say it, but you can't.
You would love to, though.
You could have thrown Traffic.
Traffic.
Yeah. But Winwood's solo stuff was.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can't talk about it.
No.
Also,
you'd love to be able to, though.
He sang on Santana.
That's right.
Everybody sings on Santana's tracks.
True.
Plus, didn't he sing on the Blind Faith song or that band that just had?
You'd love to bring him up.
Maybe.
You wouldn't. You love to bring up Winwood.
You
would, but you can't.
Remember that song?
Yeah.
He'd love to
Can't
sing
Go Away Home or something. Yeah.
Hey,
the Swans did a cover of that. Did you know that?
No.
It's on that Burning World album.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
But they do a cover of Can't Find My Way Home.
We're in the 80s. We can bring up songs now.
Well, that's true.
You'd love to bring up Winwood, though. You would, but you can't. Don't do it. I mean, it would have been nice if you could have brought up Paul Simon here, but you can't bring up Paul Simon.
Do it. Not even Simon Garfunkel.
That's two people.
Two
That's
guys
barely
that
a
can't do
band.
it.
You would have liked to somewhere thrown in Bob Marley, but you can't.
Oh, that's
You
right.
can't bring up Bob.
I can't do it.
You would have loved
solo
to.
artists.
You would have loved
we'll
to
do
have
solo.
brought
We'll
up
do
Buddy.
Solo artists and duets.
You would have loved to have brought up Buddy Holly, but you can't do that.
You can't do that. Yeah.
Even though the Crickets were there,
Yeah.
but you couldn't do it.
That's
Can't do
true. Yeah. We'll do it next
You
time.
would have loved to have, though,
Yeah.
but you can't.
You can't say it.
You would have loved to have
Van
brought up
Halen.
Prince.
Oh,
But you can't.
That's a tough one.
You would have loved
Tough
it.
one.
Because feels like a big
Van
miss,
Halen.
right? Feels like a miss, huh? Feels like a miss. We're making faces, but we can't.
We're making faces, but we can't. Van Halen,
can't.
yes.
Pretty influence in rock and roll. You would have loved to have said, I'm
Yes.
not a fan, but you would have said Elvis Presley, but you can't.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
I love Elvis, but
I think
you're right.
I think he's a little overrated.
You think he's overrated? Yeah.
Touch
okay.
overrated. But I don't. You would have loved
I
to brought him
forgot
up.
about a '60s one, Santana. They were great.
Yep.
Every decade,
Forgot
really.
about
jump in.
that. We forgot about them.
And then that goes in with Journey because Neil Schon.
That's right, Neil
came up
Schon.
with
Well, look at little
Santana.
kid bringing it out. Neil Schon, that's right.
Also very underrated
Oh
guitarist.
gosh,
He was awesome.
I love Journey.
Journey's so good, so good.
Steve Perry was one of the best.
Jonathan Cain.
The
Jonathan
vocal
Cain.
range.
Yep. Oh yeah, he was great.
Another one we love, Cy loves, R.E.M.
Oh, I love it.
I like REM.
You like R.E.M.?
Don't come at me with
I
that.
love him.
All right.
Come
Love
really.
him.
It's me in the
I'm
corner.
sorry. I always love him.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do during the pandemic when I was going to work
Things to
was
do.
I put on It's the End of the World as We Know It and drive down the weirdly empty road. Because it felt like I was in like an apocalyptic
That's
movie.
right.
It did.
It was a good. That was one of my favorite things to do.
It kind of brings back that that feeling.
Yeah,
of
it felt like I
being,
was in some sort of like.
Is this some kind of movie or something?
Well, that's what it felt like. I was in some sort of Sundance zombie movie.
It did.
Some kind
Yeah.
of something.
Because there was a few times I had to go into downtown Columbus.
It's a ghost town.
it's like
you saw a
Ghost Town.
yeah.
You saw a tumbleweed and a dude walking dragging his foot.
Dragging his foot. And the tumbleweed fly in the city of Springfield.
Yeah.
How'd that get out here? That was really tumbling.
Another one I think we all love, The Cure.
Yeah, I love The Cure.
Yeah. Fridays usually.
Fridays usually.
That's when I'm in
Fridays usually. That's when when I really like them. I could even say love them.
Yeah.
Fridays. I love them though. Yeah, it's great.
Good to know. Good stuff. You and I love this one. I'm not sure about it.
Sign maybe not.
Maybe Sigh. I don't know. I don't think. The Police.
Yeah, love them.
So you like the Police?
Not a big fan.
Not a big fan.
Not a Sting voice fan, or
No.
just not.
No, yeah, I don't.
That's such a cool.
Yeah, I don't.
Just not clicking with you.
British reggae is weird for me. So
British reggae.
tell me that's not what their genre is.
I mean, they have some.
They have some in there, sure. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
But-
that's kind of what he fell into.
But every little thing she does is magic.
It's a great track.
Gosh, I love that.
But there's some songs in there that are a little weird.
I love it. I love them. I'm
Another
sorry.
one that he doesn't like so much.
Okay.
We love Talking Heads.
Yeah.
Interesting that you said I hated REM, and then you're like, maybe he doesn't like Talking Heads so much. Because I don't like Talking Heads at all.
No, he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I actually love REM, so just maybe a little confusion.
He's made a good case for David Byrne and his kind of different vocals.
Not the most.
I mean,
not that I don't like a vocalist who's got a little. I mean, I like Bob Dylan. You would have loved to have brought him up, but you couldn't.
Can't bring him up.
So I'm not going to say
I don't
anymore.
think we have to do the. I don't think we have to.
Well, you would have loved to have
I
said
think
it.
you guys are just bringing them
We
all
already
up.
did. We're bringing
Well,
him
you
up.
would have loved to have, for sure. But I think there's something to be said for somebody whose vocals are a little more of an acquired taste. But as far as I never acquired the Talking Heads.
That's well put. I never acquired the taste. Yeah, that's fair. But I love it.
This next one is one that I believe was heavily influenced by Roxy Music, and I believe you love them.
Wham.
The Cars.
Oh,
The Cars.
I do love the Cars.
The Cars are awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
No
Definitely.
arguments from me. Yeah.
definitely influenced.
From the Roxy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a little cool story about the Cars.
Oh.
I'll see how cool it is. I'll be the judge.
We'll
of that.
see.
Rick Ocasek and what's it?
Bob or I forget his first name.
They met just down
In
the
a
road.
car.
They met just down the road in Yellow Springs.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true? They met
in a car.
in Yellow Springs. Oh, that's cool.
In a car.
I don't
They
think
might
they
have
were in a
been.
car.
They could have been.
Would have been.
But that's really neat. I didn't know that.
That is neat.
See, we get a little local flavor
Yeah,
here.
a little local flavor.
Definitely. And I mean, great songs.
Oh,
great
yeah.
songs.
I have nothing bad to say about them.
Next one up, Dire Straits.
Yeah, love them.
Yeah, I mean,
Love the Dire Straits.
Mark Knopfler was
Yeah.
an amazing musician.
Yeah, I love them. So I like Dire Straits a little bit here and there. Some. Yeah, they're good.
And you can't do an 80s band list without U2.
Oh yeah.
You can't.
You shouldn't.
What?
I said you certainly can't.
You certainly.
It's your favorite band. I mean,
Well,
historically.
love
Well, I would
U2,
say
yeah.
Joshua Tree is one of the greatest albums.
Yeah, I love Joshua Tree.
Yeah. I really
I
liked
love
that one album they made us all have on our phones.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
That's a different
Songs
story.
of Innocence or something. Experience from.
I think
that didn't turn out well.
one of their biggest problems was when Bono fell in love with Bono.
Yeah, I think there's a good. I think you could. There's a little bit. Yeah, I think he probably could have backed off a little bit at a time. But I love Joshua Tree and I love War.
Yeah.
Wow, I hate War. That's a weird stance. I think War is bad.
The album.
I don't. Oh, okay.
I should have did the quotes.
Yes.
Would that have helped?
We're gonna clip that though, right? It's gonna be our first YouTube
know
short. Scott's just like, I love War. And it's just, we'll play clips, like notorious clips from different wars.
Oh wow, yeah, that should be.
That'll be good.
Great,
Yeah. Oof.
Man.
Well, not for. It would be good. It doesn't hurt us.
No, you guys are good, are fine.
Scott will be
You
canceled.
gotta worry about the fallout. Nuclear, maybe.
Fallout.
A little idea. Write that one down.
You got any other 80s bands?
Yeah, I've got
in
a
there.
couple.
All right, yeah.
Japan. I love Japan.
Poor timing.
David Sylvian led band. They were out of England.
Okay.
Fretless bass playing by
Japan,
Mick Karn.
England.
Where he bent the notes, and it's like, it was really cool. I saw him play like in a video of them. They were in England. They were doing their last tour. So and this is, I think, either during the time, it might have been a little bit before, but he played the bass and walked around with it like it was floating around. And he's playing these bendy chords, very distinctive bass playing. Yeah. And all the guys were pretty good musicians. And David Sylvian, I love his voice. He's probably, you're talking about Roxy, David Bowie, they're very much influenced by them. Yeah. They started out as a glam band, believe it or not, and then they ramped it up into more of the art rock, new wave kind of stuff. And
that's quite a stretch from glam band. That's crazy.
Well, the funny thing was they were kind of like didn't make the best career move to start in the late 70s with glam, when it was kind of already
phasing out.
Like, well, that's probably not your best move to begin with. And they quickly kind of
graduated from that.
Echo and the Bunnymen.
Yeah, good stuff.
At least their first few albums. I think some of their later stuff gets kind of samey. Like, that's all we got?
Yeah.
But their first few, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a couple. Church.
Yeah.
Great. I don't know, you call it neo-psychedelic kind of band.
Yeah.
A lot of shimmer, learning jangly, two guitarists.
Yeah.
Kind of layered. There's a lot. I'm not going to go crazy, but yeah, just a couple.
That's
got any other?
Yeah, what about you? You got
any other 80s?
I think we hit I think we hit a lot of them.
What do you got over there? You got to have somebody. Smiths. You got, bless you.
Sorry, I'm allergic.
Caleb. I'm allergic to them. I
thought we were just doing
New Order.
Oh yeah. New Order. Yeah.
I wish you would have forgot the Smiths.
If I remember New Order, I would have said New Order. I don't know how I forgot that.
That's a good. You can't forget that.
Yeah. You could have forgot the Smiths, though. I think more than one agrees.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Sonic Youth.
Oh.
Yeah, they're starting in the 80s, I think.
Yeah, they started in the 80s. We got Sonic Youth, big on the indie scene before it was, indie. Yeah,
they were indie before indie was cool.
We could be here all night. Yeah. We can't do this all.
Post 80s, I only got one.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because for me, I kind of
post 80s.
I didn't progress much.
We're done here. You said
you barely progressed into it.
Yeah.
You said after this, it's over. It's over.
The Killers.
Oh, I love the Killers.
The Killers are good.
Yeah, they're great.
That's a good.
As far as I'm concerned,
choice.
Since the 80s, they're the best band.
Yeah, they're really. I like the Killers.
They're really good. I don't know if they're the best band that's coming along.
To say best.
Well, they're really good.
For yeah.
Well,
for me.
Yeah.
And that's all that really matters. So.
Okay.
I love it. That's all real. Let's face it.
I mean, I think.
What do you think, Caleb?
I think you missed a few, maybe.
Okay. Well, there's quite a few we probably missed.
There's a few in there.
That's where you got.
Well, some of this is a lot. This is a big cross to carry, considering I was born in '89. So I got. You want me to just take the '90s like it's my baby?
Got anything?
Well, I don't.
I could throw in a few. Size probably got a. Yeah. He's probably got. Some too.
I'm not a big fan, but I think it would be wrong of us to not mention them.
Yeah.
Nirvana.
Yeah.
Huge band. I don't think they're good. I think there's.
I
never cared.
They're good.
I don't enjoy it. I actually don't enjoy grunge music.
Oh, okay.
Really at all. I like maybe like a Pearl Jam song.
Okay. Just didn't grab you.
Yeah, I also think it birthed a genre that I didn't really care for.
Yeah.
And I think there's a reason grunge was very short-lived, and that's not a joke about Kurt Cobain, but there's a reason that it kind of fizzled once Nirvana was off the scene, because it was really just them centric and a few other French bands, and it wasn't that good of music.
I agree.
It's it's got the name of it is very fitting. It's very growly and stuff, but I never cared for it.
So you liked Nirvana?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to put them there in terms of their influence.
I mean, kids are still wearing Nirvana t-shirts,
absolutely,
even though they've probably never heard a single Nirvana song.
That's true. Maybe, perhaps not. Yeah.
They're still pretty relevant.
Yeah, well, entertain. Yeah, here we are now. Yeah. Entertain us. You know what I'm saying? But they're. Yeah, I just thought they were okay. Not a big fan. I don't know if this is one of the best bands of all time, but Matchbox 20 was pretty big for me.
Matchbox 20 was big.
I did like them.
Who's that fellow?
Rob Thomas. Yeah, I liked him.
For him on the Santana song.
Great on the Santana song, but also just Matchbox 20 was a pretty big band.
Yeah, they were big.
Yeah,
they were real big.
Yeah. But you do have a lot of those like Nirvana-esque bands where they were pretty big for a short time.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
If Sublime you like them, you should.
Sublime was really big,
Sublime,
but again,
did you like them?
I mean, like
you gotta throw things out you like. I don't care how long they last. Really,
Foo Fighters.
Yeah, you got the Foo Fighters.
I don't actually like
their stuff.
No, I don't. Never was a big fan.
Okay.
For me, I was just actually having this conversation with my buddy the other day. I do like a lot of their songs, but never did I like exhaustively listen to their discography or anything. But I've heard a lot of their music, like a lot of their music. But as far as like influences on the music that I ended up listening to, like in high school, and even they were still relevant, but I still consider them to be like a little bit of an older band as far as that goes. Blink-182 was really big.
Oh, okay, yeah, they were
for me, and still, I mean, they're still making music.
Yeah,
and for me, Blink-182 is one of those bands that a lot of bands progress out of a sound. Some bands find a formula and stick with it.
Yeah,
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh yeah,
they're good. They're a good band.
Yes,
but they've also you could argue that after a certain time, every one of their songs started to sound pretty formulaic, like the same. Blink to me is one of those bands that they've always sounded like Blink, but they've always kind of been doing some new things too.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they're a huge band. It's so, but I feel like they kind of helped birth they were like maybe the last little bit of punk before pop, like they helped birth pop punk. I feel like
gotcha,
because they kind of had the dual lead singer thing.
Yeah.
And one was much more of a punk sound to his voice, and the other one was more of a poppy sound to his voice, and so they kind of helped. I feel like they kind of like led the way in
that's cool.
That genre, which was my favorite genre growing up.
The pop punk.
Pop punk, yeah. But I would say of course I had favorite bands in high school, but honestly, rock music for the most part isn't really in the popular zeitgeist of the culture anymore. I would say it's not,
now, not in a popular sense.
No, and to the point where I'm not hearing a lot of new rock music.
Yeah, you're gonna.
I'm sure there's still a scene, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. But it's nothing compared to what.
It's not going to be.
There's not that big pocket of kids that are still listening to rock music. You have to look for it.
It's not going to be out there.
It's
been replaced.
Yeah, you got former rap stars that are making songs that sounded like bands when I was in school, but that's not really it.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, but
did you like Green Day?
I liked their earlier stuff before American Idiot.
Okay.
I thought American Idiot. I didn't care for. Obviously, it's a very punk message to go against the system.
Sure.
But I just thought it also, not only was it just going against the system, a system that I didn't necessarily disagree with, but it also became too I don't know, commercialized, studioized. Yeah, and overproduced, I think.
Okay.
But a lot of the stuff I listened to, which I'm sure you could say too, was a little more off the beaten path, not really big bands. I listened to some other bands, but none that I don't think would be big into
whatever.
the culture.
I mean, you could put your favorites as well as.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to just put bands that.
Yeah, I mean, like for me,
everybody's gonna know. I mean, some of it might be good that people might. Oh, they sound pretty good. These cool guys are talking. Or maybe I want to avoid them.
I mean, I listened to there's a band called Say Anything. They were definitely a pop punk band.
I think I've heard of them.
I liked Fall Out Boy, but I'm worried that people are going to hear that and think I mean new Fall Out Boy. There was a time where they weren't doing stadium rock; they were actually a pop punk band. Panic at the Disco, same thing with them. They used to not be I don't know why both of those bands became like stadium anthem, more and way more poppy than they were.
Oh, okay. But when they started,
yeah. But both of those bands, Taking Back Sunday was a big band that I liked. I obviously liked the Killers. They were good. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other bands, but those were some of the bigger ones. Yeah.
Psy?
Radiohead.
Right. You can't go 90s without talking about Radiohead either.
Yeah.
And Nirvana. Yeah, I'm a big Radiohead fan.
Yeah.
Loved Luna, Luna. There used to be a band called Galaxy 500 in the 80s, and then they kind of switched some members and became Luna. Very good guitar work.
The singer from Luna is a comedian now. Did you know that? Yeah.
Really?
He's on Greg Warren's.
Dean Wareham? Is that his name?
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong guy.
That's all right. I just was. But Luna, Tender Sticks, I like a lot. These are I'm just throwing them out.
Yeah.
Tender Sticks, 90s. Love the Divine Comedy. Love them to death. I love the Britpop. Blur. Loved Blur a lot. Pulp. Some of the Brit stuff that was coming out.
Yeah.
Some people, I'm not as huge a fan, but some people probably would say Oasis.
Yeah. Heavily influenced by the Beatles. I mean, they were even ripping off the look.
Yeah. The Gallagher boys. Some of those. Some bands to mention. A punk band that I loved in the 90s was Rancid. And especially their album Out Come the Wolves. I just loved that. That's awesome. I mean, to me, that was like an older school punk, like the Clash or something.
Yeah.
So it's probably appealed to me a little bit more. It wasn't punk like 2 seconds. I mean, there was melody and choruses.
Yeah.
But it had more of a throwback sound.
Right.
To some degree.
Because by that time, punk was starting to progress.
Yeah. So I may mention them. But we can be here all night. I know, guys. I just throw out a few. Maybe somebody goes, yeah, he said, what's the name? Or that band. He can't say, what's his name?
Right.
He says he has to say a band.
Well, if you're listening, you disagree.
Hold on, I did forget one. And they were actually probably, for the majority of my early high school, my favorite band, Yellow Card.
Yellow Card.
I loved Yellow Card. They were definitely pop punk. Probably more, I wouldn't say more punk, but more punky than some of the later stuff that I listened to. But also featured a violin.
Oh, neat.
So it was very different than a lot of the music that anyone else was doing.
Before we go, I gotta put these two bands in the 80s. Absolutely love them to death. I'm telling you, they're huge for me. Prefab Sprout, XTC. Love those bands. XTC, I think, is the closest that our generation ever got to the Beatles.
Yeah.
Or the Kinks. I mean, they're just, brilliant songwriting.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. Definitely.
Very clever, and were good musicians. I love that band. The only problem I had with them was that Mr. Partridge, who I love dearly as a songwriter, was an atheist. Yeah. I was like, daggone it, Partridge. But it
kind of came through on some of their
songs. Yeah. I was like, daggone it.
Yeah.
But you write so well.
Yeah.
Anyways. And I got to throw in Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to.
You would have loved to have done that.
That's like the jury, where you're supposed to take that statement, but they say it anyways just to get sent into some jury.
Scratch that from the record.
Yeah, scratch that. But it's already said.
Yeah.
I can't get away.
I wish I could have. I wish you could have brought him up, Scott. I do wish you could have done that.
If you've listened to this and you got some other bands that you think we missed,
throw Bauhaus in there because you got to have some gothic rock. That was big in the '80s for a while. Kids, watch for that. Don't get pulled into the lifestyle. Just listen to music.
Oh, yeah.
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
True.
That's a different.
I'd go with
You
them.
think they were goth rock? You think?
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't
I'm
either.
Just being,
I'm
They
sorry.
should have gone.
yeah.
Maybe they should have
That'd have been a weird take.
Maybe
if they did.
it may have been more relevant.
Have been more relevant. I think.
Ironic name though. If it would have
true.
been
Yeah,
goth
very
rock
much
band.
so.
I think that might have been the catch
might have
right
worked.
there. Yeah.
Oh man, what a miss.
But yeah, if you're listening to this and you got some bands you think we missed,
Gotta be.
I'm sure we missed something. We definitely didn't do an exhaustive list of the 90s for sure.
Oh no, we didn't.
No.
But be sure to throw a comment out there.
I'm kind of
like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Good stuff. And we'll be right back after
this. And we're back.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to have a 1 week kind of preview of our going through the life of Christ. And then next week we'll get back into a little bit more apologetics. And I'll try not to talk with my hands so much.
That's easy to do.
It just looks terrible. It's
easy to do, though.
But
Sai told me that he doesn't really like anything that's going on this side of the camera.
I know he did.
Did he? That's not what he did. Sai.
But I wanted to start off with this. It was a song that we used to sing when I was growing up in church, and it was actually written by the Gaithers.
Imagine that. Oh, you didn't grow up in that church, but we loved the Gaithers.
We sang a lot of Gaither songs.
Yeah, because and here's a little Sunday night treat we would do sometimes, because there was always Sunday night church, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes on Sunday night church when we're feeling like breaking loose, letting loose, kicking free, we go upstairs because there was an upstairs part to the church.
Oh.
All right. And we get wild. All right. We turn on a Gaither video, and they'd crack out the sugar-free, caffeine-free diet sodas, and we would just have a good time.
Sugar-free and caffeine-free.
Yeah. I'd never had any of those things before, and it was pretty disgusting. Pepsi in a gold can. It was an absolute nightmare. But the Gaithers were good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were they a songwriting family, or were they a family?
Yeah, husband and wife,
and then they had the trio. Like one of their brothers was in the trio with them.
But the Gaithers was also, but the Gaithers was also a collective.
Oh,
yeah, collective.
Okay.
Collective. They would tour.
There were other groups that were on there
kind of part of that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, some really talented
guys.
singers.
The
guy who wrote "Mary, Did You Know?"
Yeah,
he was in the Gaither Quartet or something.
Yeah, and he's also a comedian actually. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, a Christian comedian.
Yeah, Mark.
Wow, didn't know that.
He was a pretty good comedian.
But this song, I believe, was written by the wife, Gloria Gaither.
Okay.
And we would sing the
Gloria Gaither.
Yeah, we would only basically sing the chorus, which was.
Gainer's a different.
And I won't go do it verbatim, but Jesus, there's something about that name, Master, Savior, Jesus, like the fragrance after the rain. Jesus, let all heaven and earth proclaim, kings and kingdoms will all pass away, but there's something about that name. But we would sing that part, but there was a spoken word part that she would do like on their album.
Oh.
And it's just, it's not that long. But it's beautiful.
It's agree to disagree.
Jesus, the mere mention of his name can calm the storm, heal the broken, raise the dead. At the name of Jesus, I've seen sin-hardened men melted, derelicts transformed. The lights of hope put in the eyes of a hopeless child. At the name of Jesus, hatred and bitterness turn to love and forgiveness. Arguments cease. I've heard a mother softly breathe his name at the bedside of a child delirious from fever, and watched as that little body grew quiet and the fevered brow cooled. I've sat at the side of a dying saint, her body racked with pain, who in those final fleeting seconds summoned her last ounce of ebbing strength to whisper Earth's sweetest name, Jesus. Emperors have tried to destroy it. Philosophies have tried to stamp it out. Tyrants have tried to wash it from the face of the earth with the very blood of those who claimed it. Yet it still stands. And there shall be that final day when every voice that has ever uttered a sound, every voice of Adam's race, shall raise in one mighty chorus to proclaim the name of Jesus. For in that day every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is truly Lord. You see, it was not by mere chance that caused the angel one night long ago to say to a virgin maiden, his name shall be called Jesus. Yes, there is something about that name. And I've always thought that was very
beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was a good way to start.
Yeah. I remember singing that song once.
Do you remember it,
Yeah.
Caleb?
It was a good one.
And like I said, we're going to go through the life of Christ. And we're starting from,
we're actually coming back and going back through. We're going backwards in reverse.
We're going forward. But we started.
We are going to go forward.
That's what it says. But we
started already at Christmas, and we covered the Nativity.
That's true. Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about them fleeing into Egypt.
Yeah,
we did. Warned. So we've covered that part of his life, and there's not a lot in the scriptures about his life between that time and when he started his ministry at 30 years of age. But what we do have is this one account of him in the temple at 12 years of age. And I mean, we can read it or we can just talk through it. And it's
not very long.
Yeah. Do you want to read it, or I can, or somebody? Yeah.
Sure.
I think let's read it, and then we can talk through it.
Yeah.
Scott, you
sounds
want to
great, but I think
my voice is a little.
Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover, and when he was 12 years old, they went up according to custom. And when the feast was ended, as they were returning, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem. His parents did not know it, but supposing him to be in the group, they went a day's journey. But then they began to search for him among their relatives and acquaintances. And when they did not find him, they returned to Jerusalem searching for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. And all who heard him were amazed at his understanding and his answers. And when his parents saw him, they were astonished. And his mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us so? Behold, your father and I have been searching for you in great distress." And he said to them, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my father's house?" And they did not understand the saying that he spoke to them. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was submissive to them. And his mother treasured up all these things in her heart. And Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and men.
Thank you. I know, as a parent, lost kids in stores and stuff for like just a brief moment, and it's frightening. So you can kind of imagine how Mary and Joseph must have felt.
Yeah, panic, I'm sure.
I mean, they've gone a whole day's journey thinking that he's with some of these relatives or some of our friends, and then they search and can't find him, so they go back. And I mean, you can feel how they would feel, but then again, they were charged with raising the Son of God, and here you've lost him. That would be horrific. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And they search for a couple days, and then they find him in the temple, and that's when they find him there. It's so amazing. He's only 12 years old, and he's sitting there with the scholars, the religious leaders, asking them questions and giving them answers, and they're astonished by his wisdom, even at that age, which it's so amazing. Also, one thing you kind of noticed is that he was missing for 3 days. 3 days.
3 days.
Such a big, important number, but
it's Passover.
Yeah, and it was Passover. True. Same time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's it just shows he was already beginning at this early of an age to have that wisdom,
right?
Of being God's son.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to wonder what it must have been like. He was fully man and fully God.
Yeah.
And so you have to wonder, like, how old was he when he started coming to the realization,
Oh, yeah.
that this is what he was here for. I mean, because, you don't have any memory of being a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't really start recalling things until you're maybe, a little bit older, maybe 4 or 5. You can have memories, that go back that far. But,
I don't know. This is one of the hard parts, right? Because we don't understand what it means to be fully God and fully man.
Right. Yeah, we can't comprehend
we don't understand his humanity and the duality of the two. It doesn't really register.
Yeah.
I mean, the ending verse itself is hard to wrap your mind around.
Yeah.
Thinking that God in the flesh grew in wisdom and stature.
Yeah.
I mean, he's omnipotent.
Right.
But his humanity still was his humanity. So,
yeah.
Obviously, he laid some things aside.
Right. Well, I mean, in other verses later on, it talks about him humbling himself, which obviously,
right.
I mean, he's God.
Yeah. He came down,
humbled himself to become one of us.
And vulnerable as a baby.
Yeah. Right.
Baby's so vulnerable.
Yeah. The most vulnerable.
Life is so fragile when you're that young, especially in that time frame.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I mean, and, we learn that he, suffered everything just like we did. Obviously, had temptations and everything. But, I'm sure, working with his earthly father, as you do as a child, he got hurt, We know he never had any broken bones because he was, that lamb of God that had to be pure and spotless.
Right.
But you're still, still going to get splinters,
Right.
Things like that. And here he is, feeling pain, just like we did too. And, going through life just as we are.
Yeah, it really is amazing and hard at times to wrap your head around it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you said, the duality of it. You can only go to yourself, or you realize what you.
Yeah.
the internal struggles and thoughts and let alone what the external world's throwing at you. I mean, this temptation's not an easy thing to overcome. It is tough to do.
Yeah.
And all of us have failed.
Right.
And to know that that's what's so and he never succumbed once.
Right.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah.
That shows you right there. And in my book, among the many other things, the miracles he did, others, I'm just amazed.
Yeah.
It's really tough. And over these when we're here on this earth.
Right.
You know, it's just like, well, it really is impossible. That's why we need to have a Savior.
Right. We couldn't do it on our own. We needed him to show us.
Yeah. It's just amazing thinking about it. He's 12 years old, like you said, already exhibiting this wisdom and confidence of some sort.
Yeah.
In his being. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And this is our Lord here
that
we're talking about. This isn't, some other dudes or in some fictional fairy tale, or this is the real.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've, in studying things, I've heard part of the reason why we have so little about him was that, ancient times, any historical figure from those times, they really don't talk about, their youth, their adolescence. They, they only discuss when they come into, prominence, basically. So it's no surprise that even with Christ, they don't have. Now there's some other books and stuff that have some really, crazy, wild things
to come up with something.
Yeah, that he supposedly did, but they were, they're in those books that have been rejected. They're not part of the canon of Scripture. But we're gonna go on from this point. Like I said, next week we're gonna get back into a little bit of apologetics, and then we're gonna walk through the life of Christ, all the way through.
So next time we're talking about being an adult.
Right. Next time it'll be at the beginning of his ministry. And
because this is it.
Yes. We'll start off with the baptism.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds great.
That's the last glimpse. The only glimpse you got
2 weeks.
Of
2 weeks.
Of Jesus, other than as a baby.
As a baby. Yeah.
Baby.
12 years old.
You get a chunk of 12, and boom, he's 30.
Right.
And he's getting it going. So.
Right. And that's where we're going to go with it.
Yep.
So,
there is something interesting and cool about it. In that way too, not just like you pointed out, Kev, the historical records didn't do a whole lot of.
Yeah.
Well, one is because they wouldn't know these people were going to be.
No. Who
they were going to be, but the other thing that's great about Christ, or I like to think of too, it just hit me. I like to think about it, right? It just hit me. Well, how could you like to think about it? It just hit you. I mean, is that, we don't know everything about our Lord or everything in the goings on of what he is and his magnificence, It kind of reminds me of not having some of it not filled in completely. Is kind of interesting and makes sense in that way, or parallels.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I was wanting to say in that way.
Yeah.
Very much so. But like always, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave a comment on YouTube or on our X account.
Yeah.
Facebook page.
I mean, we'll all
on the What You Gonna Want to Do
answer you, or get together and answer you. I mean, we'll be happy to do that.
Absolutely.
Gladly. Or send a letter to Caleb, whatever you like.
Yeah.
P.O. Box.
Yeah. Send it to the PO box.
Yeah.
02134.
Manitoba, British Columbia.
What?
I don't know. I figured we should probably have something in Canada.
Oh, Canada.
We'll be back after this.
We're back.
Hey.
now we're gonna talk about. Well, not talk about. We're going to create
pop music.
Hey, nice.
There you go.
That's it.
We're going to each create an all-star band.
Oh boy.
Do we want to do you want me to just give you my whole band and you guys can critique it, or do we want to go around the horn?
Why don't I go first?
Can we?
Oh sure.
Hey,
yeah, it was your idea.
Well, not only that, not to step on toes, but I feel like you guys will probably have like an actual full band, right? Probably, and I'm just gonna have 3 guys because I'm gonna stick with the I'm gonna take the Blink 182 model.
I've got a full band.
All right.
You got the trio. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going with the trio.
Okay.
Sure. So my drummer is going to be, I can't actually pronounce his actual name, but they called him LP. He was a drummer for Yellow Card, and he was amazing. Once he left, the band got significantly worse. Obviously, for the time frame that I was, he was my favorite drummer.
Ocean
Also my
Avenue
favorite
stuff?
band. Ocean Avenue, yeah. He was on Ocean Avenue, Paper Walls, Lights and Sounds. I think he left after Lights and Sounds, or Paper Walls. Which one was which?
Did they end up with that lineup doing 3 albums then, Caleb?
I believe so. Well, actually, not the complete lineup because one of them left for the 3rd album. But he just amazing rhythm, good speed. I mean, it was just everything he did was fantastic. And of course, I mean, I'm sticking to the Blink 182 model, and you can't just take Travis Barker. Although Travis Barker is an amazing drummer and has done so much things, you can't just throw him in there. That wouldn't be fair. LP was my favorite, and I loved what he did. So then, as far as vocals go and guitar, I'm gonna go with Max Bemis. He was the lead singer of Say Anything. Still technically is. They're still technically a band.
Oh, okay.
But that was probably my favorite band in high school. Although I don't endorse all their lyrics. I mean, I was a younger man. I'm sure we can all say that about various bands we've listened to.
I'm not saying nothing.
Some language is a little bit more colorful than what I would listen to now. But
I think we all have that.
Yeah, he could fill in, although he has good vocal range, I think he could do more of the Mark Hoppus. Mark was more of the punky sounding, one of the two. So I think he could take the Mark Hoppus vocals. And then Patrick Stump, lead singer of Fall Out Boy, he could do more of the poppy sound. Had a little bit higher register. And both of them played multiple instruments, so I mean, whoever wants to play bass, whoever wants to play lead, they could do it. Cool. If you want to just do rhythm,
so you got the switch from the jammier parts. Then if you want to pop it up, sing something.
Yeah.
You got that
everything.
too.
You got the one with the Blink model, and I mean, they made it work for a really long time now. So
that's cool. Yeah. Great job, Caleb.
Nice, Caleb.
Awesome.
What do you got?
Well, you want to throw yours in there?
Go for it, Kev.
Built with a crescendo. His is the crescendo. We end on Scott's.
Scott's
Scott's got his.
Scott's the creme de la creme.
How big is yours? Mine's just like a 4-piece.
Mine's pretty big.
Yeah, Dad's looking more like Dad's is probably looking more like a collective.
I got 8 people in my band.
Yeah. Okay,
it's a band, man.
That's an orchestra.
That's an orchestra.
So I was just trying to think of obviously go through my favorites, but try and make it a little cohesive.
Yeah.
Like obviously get very talented people, but not have it be like why are they playing together?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
So the vocalist, obviously Tom York.
I figured he was going with Tom York.
Definitely one of my favorite vocalists.
That's fair.
Guitar, I know we were just dunking on him a little bit ago, but Johnny Marr from the Smiths, very, creative.
Good guitarist. I'll give you that.
The music,
I'll take anything away from that.
Very good
rhythm as lead too.
Yes.
The music from the Smiths was never the problem.
Yeah. He's talking about the vocalist. Yeah.
And then
primarily
had trouble thinking through basses, so I was thinking who's someone pretty versatile, has done a lot in their career. Paul McCartney.
Oh yeah,
great.
He is
great bassist.
Amazing bassist.
Yeah.
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 He's awesome.
And
Add some unexpected vocal abilities too. On your bass.
Yes.
He would be bad to harmonize in the background. Maybe not now, but at his peak.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Now I think you just tell him, just play the baseball.
Tell him now you would have. Yeah.
And then I couldn't believe I had forgotten them earlier, and unfortunately I can't remember his name, but the drummer from New Order, absolute machine.
Yeah. Morrison? Is that his name?
I can't remember.
I think it is.
Practically a human drum machine.
I think it is something like that.
Very talented.
New Order, you said?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So I was trying to be cohesive.
Hey, I like it.
Steve Morris. Does that sound right? Steve
That's
Morris?
it. Steve Morris.
Steve Morris.
Not Morrison. I'm sorry. Steve Morris.
So that's your band?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I like it. It's
right.
good stuff.
I'll throw mine in here.
Get ready for an exhaustive list. How many instruments?
Nice band.
What else?
He's got the band.
I have 2 vocalists.
I like it.
I got a male and a female
Ooh,
vocalist.
nice.
And actually, I got another one.
Another might be able to. Oh, that's cool.
I mentioned him earlier. Steve Perry.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
And you're bringing a woman in to sing with Steve?
Yes, I am.
Is it Bonnie
Yes,
Raitt?
Steve,
I am.
very soulful voice.
Yes.
Bonnie Raitt.
Gladys Knight.
Ooh. Gladys Knight.
Okay.
That's nice, Kev.
I think that
So
would work
instead of going with cohesive, you went the
well.
opposite.
I think they would blend very well.
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus,
I love.
I'm not
they're
saying-
both great.
Yeah, they're
I
both
love
great.
Steve Perry.
yeah. I think it would work very well.
Interesting.
Very well.
It's intriguing.
So that's what we got their vocalists going.
Yeah.
I got a couple guitarists, and the first guitarist is Eddie Van Halen. And you may not know, when David Lee Roth and Van Halen split up,
Yeah.
Eddie tried to get Steve Perry to join
Really?
Van Halen.
Which would have made Van Halen better than they've ever been. Van Halen would have made the list.
They were on the list.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And
him.
He did.
Oh.
I
you-
love,
but you mean just
I
the
love
jump- just the jump
older.
stuff?
No,
I like
before that.
yeah,
I
like
I love the older stuff.
Might as well.
But if they would have had Steve Perry, that would have been amazing. That would have been so.
They would have been
Great.
one of the best bands of all time.
Yeah,
They would.
yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it.
And Eddie, one of the greatest guitarists
No.
of all time.
I don't think you're getting
And
in
my second
arguments.
guitarist,
You have more than one lead guitarist.
who I think would complement each other very well. And I've never heard this, but I think that Eddie was probably
In love with him.
influenced by this guy,
Influenced it.
Dick Dale.
Ooh, Dick Dale.
Yep.
Yeah, the old surf guitar.
Oh, okay.
The old. Yeah, there it is.
If you hear his stuff, you're gonna be like,
Yeah, I could see that.
very.
Because Eddie had some of that at times.
Yeah.
Didn't
What
he?
song are you playing? Dueling Banjos?
I like Dick
Bass-
Dale. I like
bass
some of the
is-
surf guitar stuff. I think it was cool.
My bass guitarist.
I don't listen to it
This is
24/7, but I like it.
This might blow you away. With the female, Tina
Bonnie
Weymouth.
Raitt.
Ooh, yeah, she's
Talking Heads.
she's a great bass player. She's a good bass
Yeah.
player.
I mean, she's not only Talking Heads, but Tom Tom Club as well.
Yeah,
She's
Tom.
very-
You were a big Tom guy.
Well, that's one thing you might at least respect is the some of the funk and stuff that the Talking Heads did musically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she had a lot to do with that because of the bass, and her husband was the drummer.
Yeah.
Lay
I'm just
down
saying.
the beat.
Yeah.
Her and her husband.
Yeah.
Just to point out something, because I know you're
Not a fan. It didn't win me over with the Talking Head reference.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that.
No, you're good. I'm not trying.
I know. I appreciate that.
Just information.
Keyboards, piano player,
Yeah.
and a singer as well.
Liberace.
Howard Jones.
Howard Jones. Ooh.
Okay.
The old Hojo.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yep.
I thought
Singing
you were going to say
backup
Steve
for-
Winwood for a second. I thought, well, you'd have been a good one. Hojo's good.
That'd
You play keyboards or?
He could do
Yeah,
it.
he-
Steve
he-
could do
he-
it all.
Yeah.
And Phil Collins is your drummer.
No.
Everybody
I have a
singing.
saxophonist.
Everybody's saxophone.
Yeah, and I made this list a while back, so I can't remember what all, but this guy played with like everybody. David Sanborn.
Oh, David Sanborn, yeah.
Big Sanborn guy.
You've heard him
on multiple recordings,
many
but just
Careless Whisper. That was him.
Was it Careless Whisper?
I don't know.
No, it could have been.
It could have been.
I might have been.
I'm just taking a stab.
Possible.
He did a lot for that era.
Yeah.
I mean, he was on a lot of
Yeah,
things.
he was on everybody.
Yeah, that's good.
And percussions, Keith Moon.
Keith Moon. Ooh, boy, he was a.
I thought you were gonna go Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan. Shaka. He just likes saying.
I thought about Sheila.
Oh, Sheila. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like Keith Moon.
Keith
Now
Moon.
would he give me another singer?
Ooh, wild.
Wow.
Oh, what about the drummer from the White Stripes?
Oh, yeah. What's her name?
Meg White.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Meg Ryan.
Meg White.
Sorry.
Although
Sorry.
a lot of people hate her.
They do.
Yeah.
They don't care for her.
Yeah.
She did enough.
She did.
A lot, but there's a lot of people who think she
But
didn't.
someone was definitely carrying the White.
Oh.
Well,
Jack-
okay.
Jack White.
Yeah. There's no doubt. A lot of
Yeah,
people did
but
not
probably
like it.
should have mentioned them in the
We probably should have. Probably the
White
90s.
Stripes.
Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah.
I feel like we did not do our. We really.
It's not nearly enough.
I'm sorry, 90s.
That's 90s.
We did you
I
poorly.
just forgot replacements.
Maybe we'll do them.
Talk.
Yeah.
Replacements.
ABC.
Husker Du.
Husker Don'ts.
Husker Don't. And we missed. We got to revisit this.
I'm so sorry.
We'll do. We'll come back.
Yeah, I like I like where you're going, Jeff.
Yep.
Keith Moon.
Yep. And that's my band.
Warren Moon.
Eight people.
Warren Moon.
Quarterback.
Oh, that's right. He's
He's just gonna stand up there.
Fling darts at the audience. Keep them involved.
That's right. You're not gonna fall asleep at this concert.
I'm not gonna fall asleep at this concert. I love it. I love them all.
Oh, yeah.
Great job, guys.
All right, Scott, let's hear it, bud.
Well, I'm going to start with my easy pick first. Neil Peart as the drummer. It was either him or going to be Stuart Copeland from The Police. I love them both, and they were both friends.
Oh, really?
They were close friends. Yeah. Before Neil had passed, a few years back, but
Yeah.
so he's probably. But it is tough because now I'm thinking about you name people, and then they got to play together. What kind of music?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I love them, but I don't know what kind of music they're going to come up
I
with.
think
Yeah, I
my
know.
band could play together very well.
I don't know what they play, but I hear you.
I'm going to go with two vocalists too, just because I just offer some variety.
It's an all-star band. I get it.
Yeah, it's just variety.
An all-star band.
I'm going to go with Bowie. Sorry.
Hey,
sorry.
You don't have to apologize to me.
As long as the other one's not Elvis Costello, I think we'll be all right. No, you can't. That music's not going to be listenable.
No, it's not.
You're going to have someone else who can sing?
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
I like Bob. Listen. I
He
would
gives
love
crap to old Elvis Costello, and he loves the Bob Dylan, which is no problem. I like Bob.
Yeah.
Just don't get into the old Costello.
No, I never got into it.
You're all right. Okay, the lady, this ain't going to work, really.
Bonnie Raitt?
Yeah.
It's not Bonnie Raitt.
No, it's not Bonnie Raitt.
David Coverdale.
Gladys
and
Knight.
Bonnie Raitt.
David Coverdale and Bonnie
How
Raitt.
did that not
Back
happen?
together
How did
again.
that not happen?
In the band, Rate Snake.
Rate Snake. That's awesome. Rate Snake. That's beautiful. That's awesome.
It's a thought. Just throwing that out there.
Then I'll go with keyboard player or synth player, Thomas Dolby.
Who was
your female
who was the
singer?
lady singer?
Shardy.
Oh,
Nice. Keyboard player, Thomas Dolby. But waiting in the wings, honorable mention, Donald Pig.
oh,
So you gotta understand.
Yeah, I got to understand.
yeah.
Or you got
Just in case.
two keyboardists. You get
Maybe he could.
There you go.
Might get a little bit.
a lot of keys out there.
Yeah, that's
That's fine. Go for it though. Maybe one's just laying down
may
some
be a little bit
synth
too much.
stuff, and the other one's doing keywords.
I thought about adding Prince as my other guitarist, but I thought
How many
can't
guitars do one
no,
man?
instead of-
Just one man need? How many
instead of-
leads?
instead of Dick Dale,
Dick
but I
Dale.
thought
Thought maybe
I
that would've
can't
been good.
see I can't see that working.
You think it's two egos clashing,
right? But I can see Dick Dale and
but put Gladys Knight over Dick Dale.
Gladys Knight.
Yeah,
she's good.
I've always thought Gladys Knight and Steve Perry. That's
awesome.
a vocal marriage.
They would work. It would work
nearly enough.
I think you could do material there.
It would work.
Yeah.
It would work.
Yeah, Gladys. She's a material girl.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Go ahead, Scott.
That was Madonna. You would have
That
loved
leaves
to
me
admit.
with my guitarist and bass. Gotta have two guitarists too, because you might go one.
Well, you do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might go
As you do.
one way or the other.
Yeah.
First guitarist is Alex Lifeson from Rush. I got two guys from Rush. And
Mostly Rush.
it's mostly Rush.
It's Rush with David Bowie. What I've done here, I hear it now.
Not very,
It's
not very original.
I made Rush with
It's not
David
really
Bowie.
that great, is it?
No, it's good. It's
We
good.
created a whole new band. It's not just Rush, I swear.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's kind of. He's got a lot of variety in his guitar tones.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, fair.
70s, the 80s. I mean, he's got a lot of that. Different things.
And he can play loud enough; it's going to cover up what Bowie's doing.
Well, yeah. That's for all you Bowie haters out there.
Anybody with
And here.
Oh.
Bass player, my second guitarist. I'm sorry. Need a little bit more of the. Ooh, yeah.
He surprised even you. You didn't see this
came
this
out of
kid came
nowhere.
out of the wing.
It really did. It did, because I'm thinking, well, Sade, got the jazz thing, but Pat Metheny, the jazz guitarist. Love my Pat Metheny. Shai knows who he is. He's a great player, and he gives you a little subtlety.
Well, that'll give you something.
You know what I mean?
That'll
A
give
little
you something.
subtlety, because he'll play more out front. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
Then the bass playing is Geddy Lee. So all of Rush will be.
Rush is present
Yeah.
and accounted for.
No, he'll.
Russian friends.
Russian friends and Putin's up front.
I don't know. Maybe I'll go with. I'll go with the guy I told you earlier that played with Japan, Mick Karn.
Oh, okay.
But Geddy will be his backup.
Just in case he's there waiting in the wings.
Just backup though.
Yeah.
Just backup.
I mean, I don't know if any of our bands are as quite as cohesive as Gladys Knight and Steve Perry.
I'm telling you.
Think about that
I
vocal
could hear
marriage.
it working. I could hear that working.
I could hear it working in some. I think it could.
Some aspects, yeah, for sure. And
A
music
little avant-garde.
But the other thing
can
is,
be for everybody.
you wouldn't.
Listen to it.
No.
Is that not what you?
That's what I was gonna say.
You wouldn't leave it on.
No.
You wouldn't finish the whole song. You get it. You know.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
get it.
I mean, it would be like every song they're duetting. I mean,
No.
one could be.
Taking lead, the other one's
Right.
doing some backup stuff.
Yeah, whatever, congas or
maybe one's not there.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's not on the track.
Yeah, she's not. Maybe he's not. Maybe she's
I
not.
can see that.
Yeah, for sure. That makes the most sense.
I think everybody's lineup was well thought out. I
Some
think
of them.
Yeah.
Some of them were written down.
Well, yeah. I think we had some good, and I think we had some
I
interesting.
think they'd be
takes.
interesting. I think they'd all be interesting to hear.
But I mean, there's so many good people out there.
You can't pick
You can
everyone.
only pick what, a few
8 or
guys
10,
and gals.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like you can pick everybody.
You can only get up close to a dozen.
You've always seen how those award shows and they get everybody on there. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They always think it's going to sound, bring them all up. And you're like, what in the world?
Right.
I remember one in particular. They had like Aretha Franklin and like several other divas.
It was
They're all up there.
Listen,
Yeah,
it
that
was
one.
Aretha Franklin and Steve Winwood, and that was weird.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're
Why would you
all-
pick a soul singer to sing with a
I mean,
Steve?
it may be like from
I think
Mariah
I
Carey.
know what you. Right. I think they
some
were all
others,
like those.
and they were
Yeah.
all up there trying to outdo
gosh.
each other.
Yeah.
and
my.
it was hideous.
Oh.
Yeah, when you get those power vocalists all trying to
They're all trying to do their thing.
or
That's
or
not good.
Bonnie Raitt with a bunch of guys you've never heard of trying to sing The Weight.
trying to sing the weight.
Yeah, and you hear Bonnie Raitt's part and you're like, well, that's
Yeah.
why she's
She's
Bonnie Raitt, and the rest of them you're like, huh. They're here too.
They're here too.
Hey, I like the band. They're a good band too.
And then Caleb has this.
Okay.
I pulled into Nazareth, was a feeling about half past dead. I just need some place where I can lay my head. Hey, mister, can you tell me where a man might find a bed? He just grinned and shook my hand, and no was all he said.
Good night.
The Whatchagonnawannado podcast is brought to you by Scott Dog Productions and is made possible by viewers like you.